What do you think about when you think of fingerprinting? Do you associate it with criminals, or do you simply think of a person's identification? Fingerprints are used for many different reasons. Mostly, they are used to show identification. Say you rob a bank and you don't have any gloves to cover up your hands. Your fingerprint can now be used to trace yourself. Fingerprints have been used a lot longer than you may think. The history of fingerprints go way back. Each person's fingers and toes hold their own identification. These prints are what keep us unique from one another. How fingerprinting started. In 1800s, Alphonse Bertillon, who was a French anthropologist, decided to come up with a system to measure and record certain parts of the body. Bertillon determined that every person's set of measurements was and still is unique. In 1880, Dr. Henry Fald suggested that fingerprints should be used for identification purposes. A book came out 12 years later called Fingerprints by Sir Francis Galton that described the techniques for fingerprints. What exactly are fingerprints? Fingerprints are the effect of oils from the skin being left behind. Ridges on the skin called friction ridges create a pattern that is transferred as an individual print. Fingerprints are impressions of a human finger. What are some interesting facts about fingerprints? There's a 1 in 64 billion chance that your fingerprint will match up exactly with someone else's. Fingerprints are more unique than DNA. Even though identical twins can share the same DNA, they can't have the same fingerprints. There are 4 different types of fingerprints: arch, double loop, simple loop, and whorled. Even back in the 1800s, fingerprints were interesting and astonishing as to how we use them. There are so many interesting facts about them and what exactly they are. So when you think of fingerprints, don't just think of someone's thumb. Like Nancy Blacksmith said, you carry forever the fingerprint that comes from being under someone's thumb.